Hey guys, hope you're all having a happy holidays. This is December 4th, and this is Michigan, and this is in fact the first time we've had snow during the day that was falling and not melting. I mean, we really haven't had a snowfall yet, unless it was like about this much overnight, and then it would melt before the sun came up. And so this is kind of different for us. Because 2 years ago we had a big ice storm, like in October. And we've had fucked up weather every year that I remember. And this is just another example of it. And because of this, I don't know if I mentioned it on video before when I did one, but during the whole warm season up until like just a couple weeks ago, I mean, we had 80-degree weather just like 2 weeks ago, but I remember saying to people, like, do you hear all these cicadas, we call them, I think that's what they're called, cicadas, that make a weird noise. They're like this really big flying bug. You normally don't see them because they used to only come out at night when it started getting really dark, and you could hear them making that noise. But this year, I don't know if it happened last year because I haven't really been able to get out and do a lot for a while, but this year, almost every day, I remember telling people, do you hear them? Because is it just me, or is that not normal? Because I only remember it happening at night before. And that's just one example. And yeah, it was happening. It was happening every day. And it would happen almost the whole day. And so that's just an example of how fucked up we've made the whole ecosystem and the animals and the insects. And the thing that's really getting to me now is they just came out with the news on the shows that I watch, on TYT, on politicalrevolution.tv, that every time the EPA or the climate scientists look at climate change data, it's a lot worse than they expected the worst case scenario to be. So whereas 6 months ago they were saying we had 20 years to transition to clean energy, they said now, all the climate scientists said, oh, well, great, now we're fucked, because they would look at the data now and say, oh, now we don't have 20 years because now, all of a sudden, we don't have any years. They said, it's too late. We're way too fucked now, where there's no way out of it. Like, we're not going to get out of it now. And the only thing we can do is try to minimize the amount of damage it does to the planet. It's already done, obviously it's already done a crap ton of damage. But we can try to minimize the amount of extinction we do. And even now, though, I get annoyed because even now the people who I thought were fighting the hardest for it, well, not necessarily. Personally, I think Josh Fox and Wes Clark Jr. and all the people who are at the Dakota Access protests are the ones who are fighting the hardest. But people who also speak about it a lot are annoying me because they're still saying, like, oh, well, the human race will be extinct in 1,000 years. It's like, where the fuck do you get 1,000 years? I would say we'll be lucky if we have 1 billion people on this planet in 100 years. And I just hope that by the time it becomes every man for himself, I just hope I'm not here, because I can't, my health is getting worse rapidly. I think it's just because of the weather. And I'm 100% sure if I had to go without the medication I need to control my symptoms to the point where I'm not in the hospital, if I go without that for 1 day or 2 days, I'm basically dead. So, like, if it becomes every man for himself, my medication is not going to be a priority for anybody. It's barely a priority for anybody now. Like, I have to beg and beg for help with my medication, getting my medication every month. So, I'm just worried about that. I'm worried about my cat and what would happen to her, and like what would I do if I had to take off and I don't have a vehicle and I can't take her with me. It's like everything just piles on when I think about it. So I'm just hoping, like, I learned also today about exactly how horrible the whole takeover of this land from the Native Americans was, and why we should never celebrate Columbus Day. And I learned on TYT Old School, because I've been downloading those and watching the old ones, that you know exactly what happened and exactly how bad of a perverse massacre it was. Like, it's basically on par with the Holocaust, if you know all the details. And I don't know why the Holocaust is recognized, like the wars are recognized, the slavery is now recognized, but we don't recognize what we did to them. Like the Native Americans, we don't even talk about it. Everybody wants to stick their head in the sand and just celebrate this guy that landed on the shore and just happened to be rich enough and backed by the powerful enough people that he got to say he found it and all this crap. So if you want to learn about that, it really made me see that this has been like the brutality of rich people versus poor people, and you know, the people who want to take over land for the wrong reasons against the people who already live there has been going on for thousands of years, and it's fucked up. Like, this is not like the Dakota Access that's going on now is horrible, but compared to what happened to them when Columbus landed and took over, it's basically like a birthday cake. Like, there's no comparison. But I'm worried that if nothing is done to stop the oil pipeline and the cops that they paid off to fight for them, if nothing is done, then it's going to turn into another takeover. And you know, it's frustrating to watch TYT Politics, where they interview all these white people in North Dakota who don't know a goddamn thing about what's going on there, and they live there, and they think the water protectors are being too violent, and they think they should, you know, complain about it being on their land, even though when this one guy said, well, we just had, hold on, I'm gonna try to get this woodpecker. Looks like a baby woodpecker. You can almost hear him. But they said we just had a meeting and decided we didn't want the pipeline to go through here, and they changed it. And I'm like, okay, but it's obvious that the Native Americans don't want the pipeline to go there either. But how is it right that they can deny the pipeline and have it be moved from their land? The Native Americans are obviously against it, and they don't have enough power to get it moved or to get it stopped. So that makes no sense at all. Like, it just pisses me off to see people interviewed about the most serious topics of this day and age, and they don't know a damn thing, and they're just completely willfully ignorant about it all, and it just pisses me off to no end. But like, I think we're fucked, really. Even, you know, good against evil doesn't always mean that the good side wins, I guess. And in this case, if the good side doesn't win, there's not going to be another good versus evil, because we're going to be gone. So Anyway, sorry for that depressing little info rant. My hands are numb and I'm freezing, and I'm actually getting ready to make, there's a finch. I'm actually getting ready to make my new batch of edibles. So I'm gonna go do that and probably try to record it for you guys. And I hope you guys are having a good holiday and staying warm. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out.